Cenobio de Valerón is an original uh, grain collection place, and it is a natural fortress, which is actually from outside unnoticeable. You can see it here also from the beautiful landscape. It's really high, and they made this grain collection place. So as I said, it is an Aboriginal grain collection store, which is a settlement, and this settlement you can see it up on a high mountain at Montaña del Gallego. I mean, it's a beautiful scenery there, and you need just then there are stairs made so you can go and visit the site. And it was built by ancient Canarians 800 years ago. And how they made it? They made full use what they had, and from the geography and the geological conditions which you can see here. It's a volcano or volcanic cone, so they used it, and with the help of flint stones they carved and opened up over 300, I repeat, over 300 50 cavities, which are laid out on several levels. And why did they use and why did they make these cavities? Because they wanted them for the storage of cereals and other foodstuffs they had. As I mentioned it, the location is very strategic. You see, look at this. Imagine just a couple of hundred years ago, just to reach this place, it was not easy. And so it's a natural fortress. It is a strategic place, and you hardly notice it from outside. And as I said, it's a vertical mountain wall. It's set into there. What does cenobio in Spanish mean? It means monastery. Because in the beginning there was a false idea that these are silos or chambers were used as convent rooms back then, in which young noble classes were imprisoned until they were of age to be married, which is of course not true, it's not historical. So they thought that they were kept there and under the watchful eyes of the adolescent Harmiguadas girls and female priests who were highly influential in social and religious circles. So that's what they thought back then. But as I mentioned, they were not convent rooms, and this theory has now been completely refuted and ruled out. The vision itself of the grain caverns here is really awe-inspiring, and as you can see here, it's located in a very beautiful place there. You might ask yourself, okay, if there are silos, I mean, say grain silos, then how cereals were stored here and how grain was stored. Exactly how the method of storing grain, the exact method is not known. Actually, we believe, our colleagues believe, in most cases cereals were simply placed straight into the silos. Although remains of pottery and baskets are also there, this could indicate that these were also used to store cereals, or grains, so they were not put in silos directly. Okay, after they placed grain into these silos, let's say just straight or put them in a jar or a container, then they used mortar to seal the doors, and and then also so close them all the silos, and they will also use the mortar to fill the cracks and holes there to avoid wasting grain. We know the Aboriginal population of Canarian Islands, Gran Canaria, the diet of them mainly consisted of barley, and to a lesser extent they used wheat as well. So barley and wheat were probably the products which were used to be stored here in Cenobio. We should also take into consideration that other products were also used and were eaten at the time, were part of the diet of Canarians, ancient Canarians, and these products were dried figs. So we assume that they may have also been kept in the caves, as well as pottery and tools and implements such as grindstones and pestles and mortars. They use these pestle and mortars just to make flour. And I just mentioned that they used doors to close the silos, and these doors were sandstones, which were found around the silos, and they used to close them. So these stones were sealed and joined with whitish mortar to close all these silos. And the grain foodstuffs, or all the excess foodstuff and grains which used to be stored here, they probably came from the Vega de Guia Galda, and this was one of the most fertile regions on Gran Canaria, and because this place had good soils and a favorable climate. Another assumption is that grain and foodstuffs could have also been produced along the coastal plain at the foot of these hills because there are settlements. There were settlements of stone houses there. Something unusual, another unusual archaeological feature of this site is known as Tagoror del Gallego, which is found at the top of this hill. What is this? It is a row of various chair-like hollows dug into the rock face. The ground in front of the seating area has been artificially leveled and partially marked off with stones. We don't know why they made it, and its use is unknown, although it is referred to as town council or meeting place. So it offers a panoramic view of the northwest of the island and is in line with the La Atalaya or Galdar Hill, where other archaeological features and remains of unknown use has been found. Thank you for sharing your time watching this beautiful archaeological site here with me, Cenobio, and I wish you a nice day.